will receive. Mark Jones along with Roddy Jones. Quint Kesenick down to the field. Got it all for you here as the Hurricanes try to bounce back after losing last night. Let's go downstairs to Q again for more on Carson Beck.
Yeah, Carson Beck takes the field for the first time since last week's loss to Louisville, where he threw 4 interceptions. I spoke to him this week. He's relying heavily on his experience. Remember, he's 29-4 as a starter right now. He's a 22-year-old, 6-year redshirt senior. He says he has simplified his life in terms of the circle that he keeps. He's shrunken that circle, relying heavily on his mom, Tracy. Says he doesn't draw his identity from the way he plays football. Let's see if the veteran can move forward.
Yeah, trying to shake off that 4 interception performance last week. They get it out quickly to Malachi Toney, one of the most imperious, indomitable players on offense for Miami. Got a good block from Tony Johnson, and it looks like he picked up just about enough for that first down at the 35.
And a good way to get your quarterback who struggled a week ago going. Quick toss to your best playmakers. Get him in rhythm.
Gets it out quickly again. This time it's Tony Johnson with a great move down the sideline. Still on his feet. Down to the 33-yard line. Another first down for Tony Johnson.
And another easy access throw. There's a lot of grass in front of Tony Johnson, who Shannon Dawson told us he was going to get a lot more playing time because he's earned it. Spins and splits 2 defenders, makes another one miss. If you said Tony for every single time he made a defender miss, you might be on Tony.
Feels like it after 2 plays. First and 10 from the 33 for Miami. Going to hand it off to Mark Fletcher this time, and he's going to be hit initially, then fall forward for a gain of close to 4 yards. Galvin making the tackle on the play for that Cardinal defense. Stanford coming off a big win against Florida State last week at home. A game that went right down to the final play, and that defense, Ibar, one of the leaders of that Cardinal defense, coming up huge, keeping the Seminoles out of the end zone.
It was a Stanford defense that defended every single blade of grass a week ago, as evidenced by Florida State coming up inches short at the end of the game.
They motion a man out of the backfield and give it to Marty Brown, and Brown picks up a couple of yards. Frank Reich is the head coach for the Stanford Cardinal, and very unique situation in which he is a one and done, admittedly, as Andrew Luck and he in concert rebuild that Stanford football program. And right now on an upward arc.
He's done a heck of a job with Stanford this year. On this third down, though, watch Malachi Toney. He's the favored receiver on third downs.
They get it out quickly on the receiver screen. Toney is going to be stopped up right near that first down marker, Roddy, by Matt Rose. That's one of their popular plays, and it looks like they're going to give him the first down.
Yeah, they love those little now screens. A lot of teams run it with the receiver widest out. Miami loves to run it to the slot because of Malachi Toney. I mean, he is a freshman that has been absolutely dynamic, infectious personality, and nobody can help but smile around him, or everybody can't help but smile around him.
He's a real connector on the field and in the locker room. First down and 10 for the Hurricanes. Their big bruising back, Mark Fletcher, carries it for about 4 yards. A local product down of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Played his football at American Heritage High School just down the highway here on 595 West, which is also where Malachi Toney went to school.
Mark, as they look to get this offensive line going, this run game going, which has struggled the last couple of weeks, under 100 yards rushing the last 2 weeks against Florida State and Louisville. They go behind that big right side of the offensive line with Francis Marinello.
And they're going to blow this play dead. We've got a couple of flags down in the field.
Before the snap, false start, offense, number 87, 5-yard penalty, 7 down.
That's going to go against the tight end, Alex Bauman. Details.
Well, here's a detail. We picked up the word imperious earlier, assuming power or authority without justification, arrogant and domineering. Not sure how you used that in a sentence earlier.
That's how Toney was running.
There you go.
You know, domineering.
Domineering.
I couldn't get into Georgia Tech, but I got a few words in the
You
back.
don't need to know words like that to get into Tech. Maybe Stanford.
C.J. Daniels on the receiver screen. Matt Rose with a nice tackle defensively for the Cardinal. Opening drive of the game for Miami, coming in with a record of 5-1. Losing 24-21 to Louisville last week, right here at home. On 3rd and 13, Mark Fletcher here in Miami Gardens, Florida. Miami taking on Stanford as we welcome you to the action. Mark Jones alongside Roddy Jones, Quinn Kessenich down to the field. You just witnessed a 3rd and long, and Matt Rose for Stanford making a nice open field tackle on Mark Fletcher, setting up a field goal for the home team, the University of Miami Hurricanes, who are coming off a loss last week at home here against Louisville, their first defeat of the season, as Carter Davis comes in to attempt this field goal from 44 yards out. He is a perfect 6 of 6 on the season. And he pushed that one to the right. So Stanford dodges one there, and a moment ago Quinn caught up, and he showed us that habla español with head coach Cristobal.
Coach, ¿cómo te recuperas?
Bueno, yo fui criado por unos padres trabajadores y siempre me enseñaron a mí, para adelante siempre, para atrás ni para coger impulso.
¿Cuál es tu mentalidad esta noche?
Todo nuestro esfuerzo, toda la jugada esta noche.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Quinn, un hombre del pueblo, a man of the people. And, you know, it's interesting. He said, how do you come back after last week? He said that I was raised by parents who taught me to always look forward and never look back. And Quinn's second question was something along the lines of, how do you set that tone? And he said, well, we're going to need all of our players tonight. It's going to take all of our players to get it done. Mark Jones, Roddy Jones, tell me about.
Offside, defense number 11 with contact. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Coach Cristobal talked to us earlier this week, Roddy, about embracing the details. Your thoughts?
Well, that's what this Miami program, that's what this Miami program is built on. Obsession with the details, and that's details that get you to success. And when you have failures, it's details on what you didn't do that led to those failures. Coach Cristobal has said they've taken ownership, and they're looking to bounce back today.
In particular, the starting quarterback, Carson Beck, who threw 4 interceptions last week. That's Cole Tabb running for about 2.5 yards on the play. Second down and 8. A look at some of the details that need to be rectified, especially the rushing game, which for consecutive weeks now wasn't what it was earlier this season, right?
Well, Mark, the penalties too. We've already seen a false start knock them back into 2nd and long and then 3rd and long, and then an offsides on the defense got Stanford into 1st and 5.
And that's Cole Tabb picking up the first down for the Cardinal out to the 41-yard line. Keep in mind that this Cardinal team, as I mentioned, is coming off its biggest win of the season against Florida State last week at home. They've already equaled their win total from a season ago. They're 3-4 coming in, and Ben Gulbranson, their starting quarterback, was shaken up in that game last week against the Seminoles, but he gets the start tonight. Gets it out quickly, complete to arguably their most dynamic offensive player, Sam Roush. Look at the numbers on Gulbranson.
Was knocked out with a knee injury late in the first half a week ago against Florida State, and Elijah Brown came back and led them admirably, but Ben Gulbranson has gotten better and better and better as he's gotten more comfortable in this offense, as this offense has found its playmakers.
There's a look at Tabb trying to hit the corner and brought down by Thomas. Let's take a look at that injury last week that Gulbranson suffered. The Oregon State transfer right there on the sack by the Seminoles. Elijah Brown came in after that point midway through the 2nd quarter and finished the game victoriously for Stanford.
Eventually had to be taken off the field or off the sideline on a golf cart, but good to see him out there with that knee brace on a big 3rd down.
Pressure coming by the Hurricanes. They pick it up, and they're going to be close to the first down. Wonderful tackle on Farrell right near midfield Interesting. Do you go for it here? Let's see how close they are.
Well, you've got two blitzers that go up the middle for Miami. Stanford does a good job of picking it up, and yes, Stanford will go for it here.
And they're going to pick up the first down. Cole Tabb straight ahead between the tackles as the Cardinal brought in a couple of extra tight ends. First down and 10, Stanford.
Good surge by the Stanford offensive line, just creating a little bit of space for Cole Tabb, who's filling in due to an injury to Micah Ford. He got hurt a week ago. He's not available today. Cole Tabb was great, though.
A lot of real estate here. Got a good block on the edge. Tabb tap dancing down the sideline inside the 20, down to the 17. First and 10, Cardinal. Much like last week, Louisville's got this defense of Miami on its heels right.
Yeah, it's a counterplay, and the linebacker, the defensive end, gets too far up the field. Cole Tabb finds some space. And then poor tackling in the secondary, which we saw a week ago against Louisville, leads to a big gain for Stanford.
28-yard gain. They run it into the boundary. Tabb again. Stopped up at about the 18 by Lightfoot. What do you think that win for Stanford did against Florida State for their collective confidence?
It gives you proof of concept. Florida State is a brand name school and a really good football team this year, albeit they're struggling. But Stanford has been close. They were in that SMU game, one-score game into the fourth quarter, then got away from them. They lose by 24. They've battled at times this year, had opportunities to win. That time they were able to get over the top. And Andrew Luck is incredibly excited about the future of this program because of the foundation that he and Frank Reich are laying.
Cole Branson over the middle, incomplete in traffic at the 7-yard line. C.J. Williams, the intended receiver, setting up a third down and 10. And the passing game, Roddy, is where Stanford has improved the most since you and I last saw them at BYU several weeks ago.
It really has, but the thing is, you get in these third and long situations against Miami, you've got to block their front. Akeem Mesidor was a game time decision. He's not out on the field right now, but Ruben Bain is. Ruben Bain, one of the best pass rushers in the entire country, right there on the edge of the defense.
Keep an eye on him. Well, Branson completes the pass inside the 10. Irvin swerving down the sideline, close to the end zone, and pushed out of bounds. Well, they're going to spot it where he stepped out of bounds back at the 9-yard line. This is a homecoming for Irvin. Good move here for 8 yards.
And a good decision by Ben Gulbranson. See exactly where he stepped out, right near that yard marker.
Good call.
See that the right foot, or the left foot, right there on the line. It's a good call by the officials, but enough for the first down. And what an opening drive for Frank Reich and this Stanford offense. Converting on a fourth down. Now they've got to convert. Now that they're inside the 10, they've got to convert it to a touchdown.
First and goal. Irvin on the handoff. Nowhere to go that time. Stopped up right near the line of scrimmage. Armando Blunt was the first one to get there, number 18, out of Miami Central High School. The former Miami Central Rocket making a nice play there. It'll be second down and goal for the Cardinal. This is the 12th play of the drive coming up for Stanford. C.J. Williams splits to the bottom of your screen. Here's their best receiver. Irvin in the backfield. Gulbranson to pass into the end zone. Caught and touchdown by Caden High. The Cardinal march it down the field with surgical precision and strike first. That's how you open up a ball game after flying across the country 3,000 miles.
No doubt. And how about the quarterback, Ben Gulbranson? Hurt a week ago. The confidence that he showed and the decisiveness that he showed on that drive was tremendous.
The extra point is good as Andrew Luck and Frank Reich try to reimagine intellectual brutality. Here's what it looks like in 2025. Back after this. It's always going to be Carroll City, folks. Here at Hard Rock Stadium, Mark Jones, Roddy Jones, and Quinn Kessenich down to the field. An impressive beginning drive by Stanford to start this game on their opening possession. They take it all the way into the end zone. This is Keelan Marion, top current returner in the conference a year ago for BYU. Gives the Hurricanes good starting field position. The Magic City aglow at night.
Is not out there right now.
O.J. Rican. Welcome back, everyone, to Hard Rock Stadium here in Miami. The Hurricanes with possession of the football, but trailing 7-0 after that opening drive for Stanford. The first time they got offensive possession. First down and 10 for Miami. Mark Fletcher in the backfield. Malachi Toney in motion. They give it straight ahead between the tackles to Mark Fletcher. Let's go down to Q. Q, a different look in those uniforms.
I know sometimes it's hard. You flip in the dials and you're not sure who's playing. This is an alternative uniform for Miami. It's a camo uniform, an honor uniform. You see the Marine camouflage jerseys with the stenciled numbers, a military honor, and a positive acknowledgement by this program to those who serve. I also like the helmets, all black with the silver U.
Different look for the guys from Coral Gables. That pass complete near the first down. Good catch by Joshua Moore, who's a guy that they're looking to target a little bit more. What kind of grade are you giving the uniforms, right?
Supporting the troops, so I think you have to give it 10 out of 10.
I'll go 10.
Would I pick it personally? Well, probably not. Probably not. The number's a little difficult to see for us up here. The thing that's going to be interesting, though, with this Miami offense, this is a Stanford defense that has 4 backups playing in the secondary. Colin Wright, starting corner, was probable for this game. He's not out on the field right now. Aaron Morris is out. Jay Green, one of their starting safeties, is out. And Mitch Lieber is out for the first half due to targeting. 4 backups, including a freshman starting in the secondary for Stanford.
Big changes back there. Beck gets it out for Toney, incomplete at the 30. He overshot Malachi Toney. Eckhart was back there defending the safety, and it sets up a second down and 10 for Carson Beck, who was a perfect 5 of 5 for 47 yards on that opening drive. That was his first incompletion of the football game there.
And Miami on that first drive struggled to run the football. They also had a costly turnover. How stingy and how stubborn will they be running the football?
Well, they give it to their big back again. That's Jordan Lyle this time from St. Thomas Aquinas. And he picks up a couple of yards. Mario Cristobal is a former offensive lineman. He likes smash ball, doesn't he? Between the tackles.
He does, and he likes the dividends that it pays late in the game in the fourth quarter. The thing is, though, Miami last week against Louisville was behind. They were down 14-0 by the time they ran their 4th offensive play. And so they weren't able to lean on that defense. You're Stanford, though. You got to cover this guy, Malachi Toney. He's their big target all the time, but especially on 3rd down.
Beck downfield trying to give Toney a shot, and boy, they had a malfunction at the junction. Toney wasn't even in the neighborhood, and another incompletion for Carson Beck. Lonnie McAllister back there in coverage. One of those freshmen for the Cardinals. So Stanford's defense gets off the field again.
And it's pressure right up the middle by Clay Patterson that's able to cause that. I mean, Clay Patterson's lined up right over the center, and it's going to be him versus James Brockemeyer, the center. and he just powers his way into the lap of Carson Beck before Carson just throws it up, a hope and a prayer to Malachi Tony.
Joyce with the punt from his own 26. Thorpe fields it for the fair catch at the 15-yard line. Will be 1st and 10 from Ben Gulbranson, the quarterback for the Cardinal, after that 47-yard punt. We'll be right back in a moment. State, and an opening drive that produced a touchdown. Pressure off the edge. Gulbranson got it out in time, out to the 21-yard line to Sam Roush, who makes his 2nd catch of the game. He picks up 6.
Wow, what a throw by Ben Gulbranson, and it wasn't pretty, but he's got Keontae Scott all up in his grill, just slides a little bit to his left and almost pushes it to Sam Roush to set up 2nd and 5.
Gulbranson 5 of 6 passing for 31 yards. They keep it on the ground this time to Tab, who in that opening drive ran the ball 6 times for 44 yards. Looking at a 3rd down coming up here.
All right, now Miami defensively has to find a way to get off the field. Stanford was excellent on that first drive on 3rd downs, going 1 of 2, but with a 4th down conversion as well. So essentially 2 of 2 in conversions.
3rd down and 4.
Sam Roush tends to be one of the targets. The tight end is going to be lined up to the bottom of your screen. Interesting formation.
Now he motions. They keep it on the ground. Nice cut and run for the 1st down. Cole tabbed for the assignment to move the chains. Picked up 7.
Well, they don't throw it to Roush, but he's going to come across and block. You get a couple of down blocks, and Cole Tabb is going to cut right behind him. It's just such a nice job by the right side of that offensive line, and an excellent tight end.
Here's Tabb again, out beyond the 30 to the 31. Ahmad Moten Sr. making the tackle. Well, the next stop on the Formula One schedule is the Mexico City Grand Prix. Roddy, you should be reading this. Shoot, you're the F1 guy. Tomorrow afternoon at 4 Eastern on ABC and the all-new ESPN app. Our pre-race coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern with ESPN Deportes coverage starting at 3. Gulbranson trying to rev up that offense and throws it away. Good pressure by Ruben Bain Jr. What can you tell me about the Mexico City Grand Prix, bro?
It's going to be fascinating. Lando Norris, who's 2nd in the Drivers' Championship behind his teammate, Oscar Piastri, by 14 points. He's on pole, so he's starting in 1st. His teammate is starting in 8th. So it's a big opportunity for Lando to take control of the Drivers' Championships. We are on the side of the Miami Grand Prix, and they're looking to get this offense revved up on this 3rd down. A 3rd and long. Again, you've got to block Ruben Bain and this Miami defensive front. Bain with the pressure on that last play.
They come with some heat again. Gulbranson flushed out. Looking downfield into a tight window. It's C.J. Williams. Incomplete. Sets up 4th down with 8 seconds to go in the quarter. Good pressure on the blitz that time by the Hurricanes. And Toure.
Yeah, Motore blitzing up the middle. Cole Tabb tried to cut him, but not a great cut. It forced Gulbranson out of the pocket, and really sticky coverage on the back end by this defensive backfield.
Flinthoff with the punt. Malachi Tony watches it bounce at the Miami 35 up to the 37-yard line. That's going to do it for the first 15 minutes. Frank Reich's
know about the coaching change and the coaching search.
You know, Coach Reich's doing an amazing job, and he's given this team everything he has, and it's amazing. And these boys, these young men are responding. Our coaching staff, they're doing a heck of a job, and I think we're a great football head coaching job. And I think head coach of Stanford football is an amazing job, and we'll find the right person.
What has your role been at practice and on the sideline? You seem like you're very much involved.
I am involved. I love this thing. This program means a lot to me. This university means a lot to me. These young men mean a lot to me. Our staff. And I help out where I can. And it's during game day, it's head cheerleader. And let's get them going.
Well, in the words of former Stanford Cardinal defensive back Rod Gilmore, our former colleague here at ESPN, Stanford has the most high-profile ball boy in all of college football.
And let me tell you, Mark,
Marion with the catch.
The way he has reinvigorated this university, and the way they think about football has been tremendous.
Nice run between the tackles. They finally find a crease on the interior. That was Marty Brown with a nice run for the Hurricanes.
Yeah, it was a nice block by Matthew McCoy, but Andrew Luck has changed the way Stanford thinks about football. I think the realities of the new era of college football, with realignment, with the transfer portal and NIL, Stanford was slow to adopt to, but he has done an excellent job fundraising. You know, there's rumors that he has raised hundreds of millions of dollars for the Stanford program. We know about a $50 million donation, but that is certainly going to help them into the future.
Hurricanes again keeping it on the ground. That's Jordan Lyle. Look at now they are embracing the transfer portal. A year ago, they had single digits. It was 4 transfer portal players, up to 17 this year on the farm in Stanford. Jordan Lyle stopped up right near the line of scrimmage by Tafiti. Setting up a 3rd down now for Miami.
Tell you what, Clay Patterson has had a heck of an impact early in this game in the interior. They've lined him up over the center. He's been over the guard, but he's been penetrating for multiple spots. And now it sets Miami up in another 3rd down, 3rd and medium. This is an area of the field where Miami could run the ball or dish it out to one of their playmakers. Malachi Tony, CJ Daniels are the 2 that they love to go to through the air on 3rd down.
Shamar Brown in the backfield. He gets the assignment, and he's going to be stopped up short of the 1st down. Brought down right at the line of scrimmage by Hunter Barth. Looks like the offense is going to stay on the field here on 4th and 4.
Hunter Barth is on the backside of this, and he's just going to knife through and make this play. It is such a nice job by the linebacker. The linebacker's on a little cross dog run blitz. One linebacker crosses the center's face, Barth right behind, and a big 4th down early in this game.
And 4 to go. They're 7 of 11 on the season on 4th. Beck gets it out. What a catch. It was behind Tony just as he turned around to make the catch. Wow.
How in the world does he catch this? I mean, he barely has eyes on it. As soon as he comes out of his break, the ball's already in the air. When he turns around, he just instinctively sticks out that left arm and is able to wrangle it on a 4th down on a play where Carson Beck's saying, "Tony, save me." Malachi Tony does again.
Beck tipped at the line of scrimmage and almost intercepted by the Cardinal. McAllister couldn't quite squeeze it. And it sets up a 2nd down and 10.
That hit the hands mark of 3 different Stanford players. Anthony Franklin tips it at the line of scrimmage. Tevaru Tafiti tips it at the linebacker level.
Oh, boy.
And then Lance McAllister, the freshman who's getting the start in the secondary, drops it. I mean, that is it's a crucial mistake, and almost Carson Beck's 5th interception in the last 2 games.
2nd down and 10. They keep it on the ground, and Brown falling down. Roddy, I got to ask you, as we take a look at some of the interceptions from a week ago, he threw 4 of them against Louisville.
Well, I don't want to correct, because yes, he did throw 4. He really threw 5, and one of them was called back due to a roughing the passer. And look, all interceptions aren't created the same. There's a story behind each interception. There was a wrong route, an underthrown ball, the receiver not fighting for it, trusting Malachi Tony. There's different reasons for those interceptions. Truth of the matter is, though, 4 of them, that's a bunch.
Fletcher in the backfield. Beck delivers a strike at the 30-yard line to Joshua Moore, the 6'4" freshman from West Broward High School. Picks up 8. Right, I want to go back to the running game for the Hurricanes. They have been obstinate about running it between the tackles in particular. How much diversity do you see in the running game? And is it a problem?
I mean, early in the season it wasn't. They haven't changed this run game a lot.
Okay.
They're just not in sync right now. Here on a 4th and short, do they trust it enough to run, or do you put it in the air again? It looks like you're going to get man-to-man from Stanford.
Blitz coming. Beck gets it out, and they incomplete pass for CJ Daniels. Looks like they were going to convert, but Daniels couldn't squeeze it. And the Cardinal will take over on downs. One more look.
CJ Daniels wins at the line of scrimmage. Carson Beck puts it there. but the receiver drops it. The struggles of this offense, the offensive line's not in sync. The quarterback has been off, and the receiver.
On the all-new ESPN app, the Cardinal with the football, 1st down and 10 from its own 30-yard line. Just underway here in the second quarter. Straight ahead. That's Cole Tabb, who has gotten the bulk of the carries so far for the Cardinal. Picked up about 4 on the play.
I'll tell you what, Mark, this Stanford offensive line is starting to open up some massive holes. And they have a few times. It feels like if Miami hasn't been able to penetrate with their tackles, there's been a lot of room to run for Cole Tabb and this Stanford offense.
Here's Tabb again, trying to get to the edge. Cut it north-south and is brought down at about the 33-yard line. No gain on the play, 3rd down and 6. Interesting to note, too, that Hakeem Mesidor was not scheduled to play, or at least was questionable.
Yeah, we're told he was a game-time decision. Was not listed on the ACC's football availability reports this week, but we were told yesterday that he was questionable to play, and he has not been out there. Now Stanford's got to find a way on 3rd down.
That's a big key to their defensive line, pardon me. 3rd and 6. Irvin in the backfield. Bain coming off the edge and dropped at the 37-yard line, intended for Roush. Pass might have been a little bit low, but appeared to be catchable.
I'm not sure Sam Roush would have had enough of the 1st down anyway, with the way Bengal-Branson had to get that ball out of his hands before Ruben Bain got there. And Bain's had a lot of pressure this year. He hasn't always turned them into sacks. A lot of that is because teams have been getting the ball out of their hands quick, but that time it didn't work out for Stanford.
Hayden Flintoff averaging 43.6 per punt this season. Punting it to Malachi Toney back at his own 21. A high spiral, and Toney watches it go out of bounds at about the 28. It'll be 1st and 10 for this, so far, a rhythmic and impotent offense for the Miami Hurricanes. 37-yard punt. It'll be 1st and 10 coming back the other way. We're going to take a timeout. Come right back to the Magic City in just a moment. Wow, Arch Manning with 346 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in that football game. Back here from the 29, Carson Beck trying to get his offense in gear and finds a familiar target. Malachi Toney with the 1st down, working against Darius Davis as we look at the SEC standings. What do you make, partner, of what's happening in the conference right now?
It seems like it's wide open. Alabama escaping with a win today. How about Ole Miss going to Oklahoma, coming out of there with the win, and the big showdown in Baton Rouge going on right now.
Lofton, the big tight end with a catch close to the 1st down.
Vanderbilt getting the win today over Mizzou.
They continue to be one of the really great stories in college football this year.
They really do. It's wide open, it feels like.
Run by Mark Fletcher inside the 40. Mark Fletcher, you know what? Great story in what he means to the program, what his family means to the University of Miami football program. His father, Mark Sr., was a father to a lot of the players on the team for as long as Mark has been part of the program. He passed away last year. Dad did last year before the Florida State game. Mark still taking many occasions to commemorate his dad. Flag down on the field.
False start. Offense, number 63. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Let's go down to Quint.
I spoke to Mark Jr. this week. He wears a tattoo on his chest. LLBM, long live Big Mark. His dad, he wears the eye black or the face tape with those initials on it. And when I spoke to him, I asked him about last week's loss, and he told me I wasn't surprised at the Louisville loss. It wasn't the best week of practice. He said they paid the price, and he was focused this week on being more vocal in practice, Mark.
Yeah, he has been one of the inspirational leaders for the team last couple of years. Keelan Marion, the BYU transfer, couldn't squeeze the football. Sets up 2nd down and 15.
You know, penalties have been big for this Miami offense, putting them behind the chains, but the drops are something that's been surprising. They were so good early in the year. Remember the C.J. Daniels one-handed catch? Keelan Marion had some incredible catches. They caught everything. Here it seemed like the ball has been a little more elusive to these receivers.
Saw a glimpse of Shannon Dawson, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays. They come underneath, out of the backfield. Fletcher Jr. down to the 37-yard line. Galvin making the tackle on the play.
I think this Miami team is in 4-down territory if you're able to get it to a 4th and short. So Shannon Dawson, who is the most famous person to come out of Clinton, Louisiana.
Clinton, Louisiana. One stoplight town,
he said,
right?
no stoplights.
No stoplight.
Blinking red light.
Don't speed.
Malachi Tony looks like he's going to be one-on-one with the freshman, Lonnie McAllister.
Beck takes out his do-it-yourself kit, got hit, and falls forward to the 30-yard line. Near the first down, they're going to spot it about a yard shy, so he picks up 8. Scotty Edwards made the hit on the play.
And a nice job by Carson Beck of getting what he can, and it sets up that 4th and short, and sure enough, Miami is going to leave the offense on the field.
It's the 3rd time today, partner, that they've gone for it on 4th down.
And look, they've tried up the middle. I think I'd try and get something on the perimeter, whether it's Elijah Lofton, the tight end, one of these receivers.
They have been intractable about trying running between the tackles, and they got it done that time. Mark Fletcher Jr., who hangs a T-shirt with his dad's picture on it in his locker before every game.
And he's the one that made that 4th down play. Wilfredo Ibar off the right defensive end, he was unblocked as he closed down, and Mark Fletcher just kind of slipped right by him to get up the field for that conversion.
Approaching 5 minutes to go in the first half. Miami still has not scored. They keep it on the ground again, down to the 21-yard line. Mark Fletcher Jr. They're basically hitching up their wagon to him and letting him do the heavy lifting offensively on the ground.
Shannon Dawson told us during the week that they were going to be more dedicated to the run. When we asked him, how do you run against some of these heavier boxes that you're getting now? That means more people in the box than you necessarily have to block. He said, look, I just got to stick with it.
About 15 touches, carries, right?
Wanted Mark Fletcher to get some quality touches early, and yeah, end up with about 15 in the game.
On 2nd and 4, Fletcher again, off tackle, going to end up a yard shy of the first down, picked up 2 with under 4.5 minutes to play in the first half. Mark Fletcher just part of the backbone of the type of players that Mario Cristobal is in, and able to keep here in the greater Miami area, Broward County, Dade County, Palm Beach County. Mark Fletcher played at American Heritage High School, as did Malachi Tony. Of course, they've hit on some portal guys. They line up out of the eye. Little ISO lead football, and Fletcher is going to be close. He will get a auspicious spot there. It looks like they're going to give him the first down based on that mark. But boy, Roddy, that was close.
Yes, it was. Miami brought in extra offensive linemen to line up in the backfield.
Remember, that line you see on your screen is just an approximation.
Brought in one of the backup interior linemen, Seyo Alofaituli, to try and lead up in there, but it was really the defensive line of Stanford that stood up. The offensive line of Miami If Mark Fletcher got this, it was off sheer determination, will, and second and third efforts.
We're going to bring out the sticks and measure. We don't see this a lot.
I mean, he is hit well in the backfield and then kind of falls forward. I mean, you can see the helmet is maybe past the sticks, but I don't know where the ball is. Can't see the ball, so the spot is what matters, and it is a nose that he got it by.
Didn't make it by much. Mario Cristobal's offensive line rolling up their sleeves and playing some smash ball.
Well, let's talk about another word that you're throwing out there. This is 1 1/4 at this point, Mark. Auspicious.
I'm excited tonight.
To success.
I'm excited tonight.
Auspicious
favorable
spot would be a favorable spot. Usually I hear inauspicious. Take off the in and get auspicious. There you go.
Hey, you're the hey man. You had that 1500 SAT. Don't even.
No, that's our producer Kim Belton, who went to Stanford.
There it is. 1st and 10 from the 17. They get it out quickly and nowhere to go for Lofton, the tight end. Brought down immediately by Colin Wright. Good tackle out there on the edge.
Good to see Colin Wright out there, who's probable for this game. This is an uncompetitive rep from C.J. Daniels. I mean, the cornerback runs right by him. Elijah Lofton's got no shot. It looked like Daniels was looking inside maybe, and then Colin Wright was past him. That's it.
Strange.
That's a double minus once you get graded. Colin Wright was banged up, didn't practice much this week. Good to see him out there.
2nd and 12. Tony in motion to the top of your screen. Now they give it to him on the jet screen, and that was well read, but he made a miraculous comeback, kept his balance, and Tony has done it again. Moves the chains for the first down. 1st and goal.
This is why it's about players, not plays. I mean, this play is dead to rights, but the player makes the offensive coordinator look good, because on the report, on the play-by-play report, it's going to go down as a Malachi Tony explosive play. But Stanford had it defended. The excellent freshman, who's been the best freshman receiver in the country, he makes it right.
Guy who is a local legend.
That's a 2-minute timeout.
His father played in the NFL for Washington. All right, back here from just outside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal for the Hurricanes. This is the 13th play of their drive. Send the tight end in motion and keep it on the ground inside the 5. Mark Fletcher again.
Feels like Mark Fletcher starting to get lathered up a little bit. They've been dedicated to the run. That offensive line has started to create a little bit more space for the running back. And the running back, you know, sometimes it takes time to kind of get into the rhythm of a game, and you have guys that need carries to start to be as effective as they can be.
Mark Fletcher has 10 carries already here in the first half. Lofton in motion, off the play fake into the end zone. Incomplete. Daniels couldn't get his arms underneath it, and he's going to ask for a review of it.
It was an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down.
Not sure he can do that.
It's not basketball.
It's not basketball.
I don't know what he's looking at. But you look at the safety in the corner, and both of their eyes are in the backfield, and no, there's no way he caught that.
No,
sorry, C.J. Daniels. It was a nice attempt, but you can wave your finger all you want.
Yeah.
But both the safety and the corner's eyes are in the backfield, and C.J. Daniels just slips into the back of the end zone, and Carson Beck just misses the throw. Pulls up early, tries to get it to him.
Wow.
Can't quite get it out there.
It was open. We're going to stay right here. We have a replay review. They are going to look at it after all, as implied. The ruling on the field is that it was an incomplete pass. There's another look.
We've got a pretty good look at it. We're going frame by frame here, and I think you can see it's between the arms there.
Let's bring in Jerry McGinn, our rules analyst. Jerry, what do you see on this play?
Tell you, Mark, from the first look, it does appear that the ball hit the ground, and the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. So they would need indisputable video evidence to overturn this. I don't see this happening.
I mean, there's the ball, and I think you can see it's between the arms of C.J. Daniels. It's on the ground. And so you're gonna have a 3rd down and goal from the 5 setup. Yeah.
It's a good stoppage by replay to look at this. It's closer than it first appeared.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. It was an incomplete pass. It'll be 3rd down.
Good that they looked at it at least. 1:20 to go.
Yeah, Andrew Luck knew right away. The thing is, it gives Miami a timeout, essentially. I mean, the clock was going to be stopped anyway because of the incomplete pass. Right. Miami gets to go to the sideline and regroup.
So 3rd and goal from just inside the 5.
The question is, if you're Mario Cristobal, don't get this, and you're going for it on 4th. But that's it's a prospect that they will answer after this play. The bunch to the bottom has Malachi Tony and Keelan Marion in it.
Beck looks the other way on the fade. Caught Daniels. And there's the payback. Touchdown Canes. Daniels with his 6th touchdown catch of the season. And Beck with his 12th touchdown pass of the year. Took almost an entire half for the Hurricanes to put it in the end zone, but it finally happened.
It's just one-on-one, and C.J. Daniels goes up and makes a phenomenal play off the shoulder pad of the cornerback, and Miami can breathe a sigh of relief as they finally get in the end zone. Someone sent it to Randy.
Hey.
It was a heck of a catch going up the ladder on the shoulder of the defender, making up for that 3rd down drop earlier in the game.
And this will come out 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line for Ben Gulbranson. About to start. Time now for our drive recap covered by Geico.
Well, this was the first drive by Stanford. Cold Tab able to find some room and get out on the edge, making guys miss in the secondary. And then it was Ben Gulbranson going up the sideline to Cedric Irvin, and this is the touchdown to Caden High, one-on-one against the safety. Andrew Luck absolutely loves it, saying it's time. And now it's time for this offense. How aggressive will Frank Reich be with 3 timeouts, 1:15 on the clock before halftime?
Starting from the 25. That's Irvin on the ground up to the 30. Picked up 5 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 5. A homecoming of sorts for Cedric Irvin, who played his high school football down South Miami and at Christopher Columbus High School. Got a bunch of people here at the game. Under a minute to go in the first half. Rouse out of the formation, the tight end. Tell you what, saw him on the field. Roddy, you and I were both down there pregame. He looks the part of an NFL type tight end.
Yeah, he certainly does. And this is an interesting situation. Stanford's content to let the clock run before trying to get this 1st down. Mario Cristobal is as well. Not surprising that he doesn't take a timeout on 3rd and 2. You don't want to give Stanford more time as they are letting a lot bleed off the clock. I mean, if they're able to get this, you're not going to have a lot of time to get points before halftime. Ben Gulbranson's still making checks.
Five on the play clock.
This has been completely mismanaged by Stanford if you're trying to get points.
Well, Branson delivers incomplete at the 46-yard line, and that's going to be the end of the first half of play intended for Bryce Farrell. Poyser broke it up. Florida State in their victory only played a quarter and a half in that game. And they'll take a touchback and bring it out to the 25-yard line. It'll be 1st down and 10 for Ben Gulbranson, who in that first half was 6 of 11 for 34 yards passing. Did have that one touchdown toss, but otherwise showed pretty good sovereignty over the offense overall.
But he started 5 of his first 6, and then after that was only 1 of the next 5. So just like this Stanford team, got off to a hot start and then cooled. It's a low possession game though. Stanford really only had 3 true possessions in that first half because both teams had long drives.
Low possession, does that favor the Cardinal?
It does. It favors the underdog in any of those situations where you're not playing as many plays.
Off the play fake. Incomplete, intended for the tight end, Sam Roush. And that time, Gulbranson way off target, but under pressure. It'll be second down and 10. Interesting that we haven't seen Ruben Bain Jr. sack the quarterback yet. Has he gotten the amount of pressure on the quarterback you thought he might at this point?
He's been getting pressures, but Stanford's done an excellent job with Sam Roush in particular of keeping a tight end to that side and chipping him in pass rush situations so he's not able to have the get off that we're accustomed to.
And there's a little bit of motion up front and a flag as well. David Blade Jr. moving prematurely.
Offside. Defense number 11 with contact. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
It's the second time David Blay has jumped off sides with contact, and that was something that plagued. You see Jason Taylor, NFL Hall of Famer, yelling, "Watch the ball." When he yells it, I would listen. But it's something that plagued Miami early in this game.
Right.
And last game.
Sets up a second down and 5. C.J. Williams in motion. Sets to the bottom of your screen. Play clock at 10. They keep it on the ground with Cole Tabb, and Tabb picks up about 2. Ruben Bain Jr. making the tackle on the play. Bain, a long line of lineage of great Miami area football players. His dad, Ruben Bain Sr., began the family journey playing at Travis Powell Stadium. Traz Powell Stadium, pardon me, and for Carroll City. Grandpa Herman was the star at Northwestern.
And Ruben Bain, there he is, the excellent pass rusher for the Miami Hurricanes. See how Stanford deals with him.
On third down, Gulbranson gets it out for the first down. Good catch and pattern by Farrell. And they move the chains. Lights the crowd on the 8-yard gain.
Well, you got a blitz from the field, so what does Ben Gulbranson do? He just throws it to the other side away from the blitz where there's a lot of space. Nobody gets out to the flat for Miami. It's really good job of recognition by the quarterback. You have numbers to the boundary with that bunch formation, blitz from the field. You just toss it out and get an easy first down.
Up to the 40-yard line, first and 10. Bain coming off the edge. Almost had Gulbranson, who throws it out of bounds.
I don't think he got that past the line of scrimmage.
No.
I'm not 100% sure he's outside the pocket either. This is pregame with Ruben Bain working with Jason Taylor, the NFL Hall of Famer. And he almost had a sack there. Look at the power on this one. He just tosses Jason Taylor like he's a child almost. But the referees are discussing now.
And they drop the flag. It's going to be grounding. Yep.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 15. The quarterback was outside the box when the pass did not cross the line of scrimmage. So lots of down for start of the foul. The second down.
Yeah, and Gulbranson, I mean, he gets outside of the pocket, so there's no worries there. But Ruben Bain gets around the corner, spins back, and then Gulbranson, you got to get this ball past the line of scrimmage. It looks like a punt coming out of his hand. It does not get past the line of scrimmage, and so it operates effectively as a sack because it's a loss of down at the spot of the foul, setting up third and very long.
Gulbranson engulfed and swallowed up at the 20-yard line. They got to him that time. Armando Blunt was the first guy to get there to register the sack.
This was caused by the pressure of David Blay up the middle. The defensive tackles ends up getting around 2 blockers. He's just going to get around the center and the guard to force Ben Gulbranson up in the pocket. And then Gulbranson is kind of protecting himself for his life. Armando Blunt finishes him, and now I think you're just going to see a handoff from Stanford and punt the ball away.
Well, Branson on the receiver screen, complete to the edge. Good catch and run by High, but not nearly enough to pick up the first down. Deontay Scott making the tackle on the play for the Hurricanes, and it's 4th down coming up for the Cardinal. And Miami should get pretty decent field position after this punt. There's a look at Malachi Toney, who last week, one of his wonderful plays was a laser of a pass on a 2-point conversion against Louisville to bring the Canes a little bit closer late in the game. Flintoff the punt from his own 16. Toney on the return of the 30. Malachi Toney on his feet. Toney down to the 40-yard line. And there's that good field position, courtesy of the freshman.
This guy is must-see TV every time he gets his hands on the football. And punt return is about lane integrity. Well, Stanford does a good job. 3 guys have a shot at Malachi Toney right there. He just breaks all those tackles, the quickness, the balance for a guy who reclassified. Came in as a 17-year-old, turned 18 during the season. He's been the best player for this Miami team this year, and he showed it on that last punt return.
40-yard punt, 33 on the return. Play fake, taking a shot, Beck complete, down to the 18-yard line. Reeled in by Tony Johnson.
I like the aggressiveness from Shannon Dawson. Play action. You got C.J. Daniels streaking down the field. Tony Johnson on a deep over route. And the reason Tony Johnson hasn't played more, Shannon Dawson was telling us, despite the production, is he plays behind Malachi Toney. You can't take Malachi Toney off the field.
Tough spot.
So they found ways today to get both guys on the field at the same time.
Motion out of the backfield and keep it on the ground. That's Fletcher Jr. Mark Fletcher Jr. accounting for most of the yards on the ground in that first half for the Hurricanes. Picked up 4 that time.
Mark, you mentioned some of the run game stuff early in the game with Miami running up the middle. As you can see, Miami has not had a problem getting in Stanford territory. It's been about punching it in the end zone. But Miami has started to use more pullers. That a little pin and pull. 2 guards pulling around after the tight end pins the outside defender on the line of scrimmage.
Fletcher stays in to block. Pass complete down to the 11-yard line. And now they're saying incomplete, intended for Marion. Let's go down to Q.
Yeah, Malachi Toney is clearly the spark of this team. He's changed the tenor of this game with that punt return. This is a guy, he's only 18 years old, from Liberty City, Florida, reclassified to get to college early, Mark, nicknamed Baby Jesus as a little leaguer, and Pop Warner. Played quarterback for most of his life, switching in 9th grade as a 13-year-old to wide receiver. But his impact today, he's the guy making the explosive plays in this game that has lacked chunk plays.
Love that nickname. Fletcher motions out of the backfield, makes the catch, getting to the edge and pushed out of bounds right near that first down marker. Got a good block from Lofton on the edge.
It's a well-designed play. Stanford just doesn't get enough bodies out to the perimeter to help with Mark Fletcher. And the motion out creates a formation. You got 3 receivers over there with a 3rd defender for Stanford. It was way deep in sort of a cover 2 safety range, and it took him a while to get up, so he wasn't able to get the ball carrier before Mark Fletcher got the first down.
They run it straight ahead. No signal. They're going to mark it short of the end zone. Fletcher ends up about a foot or 2 shy of scoring. 6-yard gain. 2nd and goal. Fletcher gets the call again and strolls in. Touchdown, Miami. It's been a while since the Hurricanes led a football game, going back to last week against Louisville. It's a first lead in the last 6 quarters. And for Fletcher, that's the 7th rushing touchdown of the season for him. But this all started with that electrifying punt return of 30 yards by Malachi Toney. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, you don't want to miss.
Oh,
okay.
He's my coach of the year.
Hold on, are you recusing yourself from Georgia Tech and the coach on the sideline there? So what's going on, man?
He may make another appearance. I don't want to see
Looks like we're going to have fair catch. Let's go back to it now. Best upstart team?
Here's my Jackets.
Okay.
It's Georgia Tech, 8-0 at the top of the ACC, well on their way to a college football playoff berth. What Brent Key has done has been absolutely tremendous. Let's go to the player of the year. Talked about Indiana. It's Fernando Mendoza. His performance at Oregon was phenomenal. He's one of the top quarterbacks in the country. And then how about top rook? We're watching him tonight.
Oh, easy call. I think.
Malachi Toney, best wide receiver, best freshman in the country this year.
His punt return set up that last touchdown. Now the defense surging as a result. That's going to be a loss of a couple of yards. Dante Simpson with the tackle. The Rotties making the appearance at the midway point of the college football season.
And the interior of this defensive line has started to give Frank Reich's offense a little bit of headaches.
Yeah.
David Blay on that last drive. Dante Simpson, the freshman, appeared on that one.
By the way, we're coming back to the Rotties at the end of the year to just receipt check.
I don't know. We don't need to check receipts.
Receipt checks.
I don't check receipts. Let's just let it ride.
2nd and long. Will Branson incomplete for his tight end, Roush. Boy, there was nobody near him, but they couldn't make the connection. Sets up 3rd down and long.
It may have been tipped at the line of scrimmage. Yeah, I think it was actually just a little bit, if anything, by Ahmad Moten. That's a game that, I mean, that's a play that Sam Roush would love to have back. Would have set him up in a 2nd or 3rd and manageable. There's a 3rd and long, and the pass rush of Miami is the most important thing to take care of. And it's not just Ruben Bain that's ended up in the backfield. It's been the interior as well.
Getting a little noisy at Hard Rock. Bain coming off the edge, a flag thrown. Will Branson under heat, got rid of it, incomplete. But the right side of that offensive line for Stanford was under heat. Ruben Bain Jr. was coming. He had smoke. Got his weight up to 275 pounds this year through disciplined nutrition.
Bengal Branson limping. Remember, he left the game last week against Florida State.
Holding, offense, the penalties decline. Defense takes the result of the play. It's 4th down. To further discussion, there is no foul at the end of the play.
Now, that's a lot of human landing on top of you down there.
Yes, it is, especially those legs. It's Elijah Brown, the backup quarterback. But Ruben Bain off the right side. I mean, watch the get off as he just beats Khalil House off the snap. House has to grab Bain around the neck, and he still almost gets the quarterback. Ruben Bain bringing him to the darkness. He was born of the darkness, molded by it. He merely adopted the dark.
love that. Malachi Toney back. Eschews the fair catch. Looking to make a little bit of magic. Malachi magic in full effect. Another spectacular punt return down to the 31-yard line. His nickname going back to high school is Baby Jesus. That's right. Revelations 1:14 says he had feet as if burnt in the furnace and hair like wool. It fits.
Well, I don't know if anybody's been as explosive as Malachi Toney returning a punt in Revelations, but if it wasn't for Jacoby Thomas, he probably takes us for a touchdown, runs into the safety who's out there trying to block, find work. Toney collides with him, and it prevents him from making a move on the punter. How explosive is this guy,
Unbelievable
man? He's
talent.
worth the price of admission. He's a freshman as the rain starts to come down here in Miami.
38-yard punt return. They're going to keep it on the ground. Fletcher That's been the popular refrain all night, keeping it on the ground. And as you mentioned a moment ago, Roddy, the rain coming down in earnest here in South Florida. And this is actually still on the boundaries of hurricane season, folks. Hurricane season officially ends November the 1st. It starts June 1st. In case you were wondering.
Hurricane season this year might last well into January and February.
That's the intent for these Miami Hurricanes. Nice pass out to C.J. Daniels, brought down by Matt Rose. Hey, here's our Week 8 Monday Night Football matchup. The Commanders will be in Kansas City squaring off against the Chiefs. 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN Deportes. And the all-new ESPN app with Peyton and Eli back on ESPN2. Coverage kicks off with Scott Van Pelt and the Monday Night Countdown crew at Arrowhead at 6 Eastern time. Branson checking out the iPad. Going to make some adjustments. Fletcher in the backfield for Miami on 3rd down and 3. Fletcher got to the 20. Oh, it's going to be close. Looks like he's a little bit short. This defense getting a lot of mileage on them tonight. They've been on the field for a while, just like the rest of the team, traveling some 3,000 miles from Palo Alto to South Florida, 3,018 to be exact. Roddy, by the end of the season, it'll be over 23,000 miles.
It's almost enough miles to circumnavigate the globe. But Miami certainly doesn't have to go this far on 4th down. They just need a couple of inches. I'd be surprised if this isn't something behind that big offensive line.
You know, by contrast, the Hurricanes, they're going to look at the spot. The Hurricanes have not been out of the state of Florida since, well, they played Bethune-Cookman back on September 6th. It's always nice. From just outside the 20, Daniels in motion. Fletcher got hit early. He may not have made it. He's going to be stopped up short by Jacoby Murray. The Cardinal defense impervious on that crucial play.
This is what you call resetting the line of scrimmage. The nose guard just absolutely drives the center, James Brockermeyer, into the backfield. And that penetration is what stymies the inertia of Mark Fletcher. It stops him in the backfield. And then they try and push. There's not a good enough shot down the line that's going to, even if they review this thing and look at it, it's not going to show anything. What a play by the nose tackle. And that's not the first time Stanford has had success lining somebody up over the center and driving James Brockermeyer into the backfield.
That defensive line has been one of the stories of the game for Stanford. Try to get to the outside, nowhere to go for Cole Tabb, brought down by David Blade Jr. Louisiana Tech transfer. It'll be 2nd down and about 13 on the loss of 3.
Miami is up 14-0 despite really controlling this game. 225 total yards. 14-7, 225 total yards to 87. The defense has picked it up, but it feels like Miami just has not been able to take real control on the scoreboard.
Well, Branson gets it out, and it's complete just beyond the 20-yard line to the tight end, Sam Roush. Sam Roush has quite the family lineage. His grandfather, Phil Olsen, at Utah State, played in the NFL with the Los Angeles Rams, Denver back in the day, Buffalo. Coached by Trent Dilfer back in high school.
All right, what is Stanford going to do here to deal with Ruben Bain, who's been a terror as we've gone on in this game? He's lined up to the top.
They're 3 of 10 on 3rd down. Well, Branson tipped, almost picked off, and a flag thrown. Poyser was there back defending, number 7 for the Hurricanes in the secondary. Might have arrived early.
Pass interference defense, number 7. Ball be placed in the spot of the foul, automatic, 1st down.
So the Cardinal will get the first down on the pass interference.
It's frustrating for the safety because he's breaking on the football, but he does get there early. He drills Caden High in the back. And so if you're the safety and you're breaking on it, you know the ball's not going to be there by the time you get to the receiver. You have to find a way to avoid that contact, and then you'd be able to pick the ball off if you can get around that receiver and snag the football.
Under 5 minutes to go. Branson taking a shot one-on-one, and incomplete at the 33, intended for Farrell. A second down and 10. One of the few times that we've seen Stanford take a shot and try and take the top off the defense. Keontae Scott was back there in coverage.
It was good coverage by Scott, and you're right, Mark. We haven't seen Stanford do that a whole lot. A lot of that reason for that is the coverage has been pretty good, and those low percentage throws puts them in 2nd and long.
2nd and 10. Tab bottled up immediately. Time now for the Aflac trivia question. Folks, it's a good one, as always. Aflac. How many Super Bowls have been held at the venue currently known as Hard Rock Stadium?
Glad they said currently known as, which gives us a couple of names ago. I believe when I played in it, it was Landshark Stadium.
Okay.
And then
I remember Joe Robbie Stadium.
Yeah, there you go. That's a great question. I have no idea. I'm going to give a guess after this 3rd down, this 3rd and 10.
This is Ruben Bain's wheelhouse. Branson flushed out and picked off at the 35. It's coming back the other way. The Saint all the way within the shadows of the goal line.
Well, this is started by Ruben Bain. Remember the last 3rd down, he beat Khalil House with speed. This time, he starts up the field and just goes underneath. House probably gets away with a hold as he grabs Bain, but it forces Branson out of the pocket. Basaint reads the route combination, gets his eyes on the quarterback, and gets under the throw, and ends up setting up Miami on the doorstep of a touchdown.
Basaint, another one of those local guys, Miami Central Rocket, where he played his high school football. Out of the eye this time. Fletcher dotting the eye on 1st and goal. Fletcher Jr. Touchdown Hurricanes. Hard Rock and the Canes going up. They lead 20-7.
Going up on a Saturday?
Yeah. Hey, and every other weekday in South Florida. 3:48 to go in the 3rd quarter. Fletcher's 2nd rushing touchdown of the night. A run that his late father, Mark Sr., would be extremely proud and grateful for.
It was the interception by Wesley Basaint that set this up. Branson being chased out of the pocket. 2 Miami Hurricanes had a shot at it, and then the next play, Mark Fletcher and that big offensive line finished the job in the end zone. Miami's
lead to 21-7. Again, consecutive touchdowns set up by the punt return pyrotechnics of Malachi Toney. And Stanford will start 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Let's answer the Aflac trivia question. How many Super Bowls have been held at the venue currently known as Hard Rock Stadium? The answer? How many were you going to guess, Roddy?
Well, I both cheated and looked at the screen and heard you say it. I'm going to say 6.
Okay. I was going to say about 4.
If you had put my feet to the fire without me knowing, I would have said probably 5, just because it felt right. But it was a bunch. National championship game is in this stadium as well this year.
We'll be here. It will be here. Will the Canes be in it? That's the question. On 1st and 10, Cole Tabb stopped up by Keontae Scott. What does Stanford have to do to find its offensive rhythm and get back to what they looked like, Roddy, on that opening long scoring drive?
Well, they did it by running the football. They got Cole Tabb going as you look at the ACC conference standings. But they had 74 yards on that first drive. They've got 89 yards total now, 15 yards since then, and a lot of that has become because of the futility in the run game.
Well, they try the run again. This is Tabb again into the short side of the field, pushed out of bounds just beyond the 30 by Thomas. Clock running as we hit 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. Stanford takes on Miami this week, and then they'll be at home against Pittsburgh next week in Palo Alto.
Love to see Stanford dial up something where Ben Gulbranson can get the ball out of his hands quick, as this defensive line for Miami has started to look a lot better.
Well, Branson got the requisite protection and got picked at the 44. Xavier Lucas this time.
Well, it's just going to be a little corner route right here, and Lucas sits here and then sinks under there. There's nobody to hold the corner in cover two as the running back goes inside, so there's no threat to that flat defender. So he starts to sink underneath that route, that corner route. There was a little hole there, but Lucas able to get under the route and pick that ball off. Ben Gulbranson likely thought that something was going to hold that cover two corner, but nothing was there, and it's a nice interception.
I wonder if they take a shot here after the interception. They hand it off to Fletcher with a nice head of steam inside the 35, down to the 32-yard line, brought down by Scotty Edwards. Picked up 12 on the play. And back to the tablet to figure out just what went wrong for Gulbranson. Look at the numbers on Mark Fletcher Jr. Had a chance to spend time with his mom at practice a couple of months ago. Wonderful family. They pretty much hit that 15 carries in the game. Here's another one. Breaking through a couple of tackles and picks up another first down. Got 11 on that carry. That was his 18th rush of the night.
Watch the Francis Mauigoa. He's projected first-round pick at right tackle. He's going to hit the double team, drive the defensive lineman down, then get up on the linebacker. Absolutely makes that run. Francis Mauigoa was a big-time recruit coming out of high school. Started as a true freshman, and now big number 61, one of the leaders of this offensive line. Projected first-round pick, showing why on that play.
Tony in motion, but it's going to be Fletcher. Breaking tackles, Fletcher inside the 10 to the 7-yard line. A 16-yard gallop.
This is why you get Mark Fletcher at least 15 carries a game. He gets better as the game goes on, and he is tough to tackle, man. Malachi Tony loves it. And anytime you see a running back run somebody over, everybody on the offense absolutely gets their juices flowing. This offensive line feels like they're much more in sync, Mark, than they were early, and that comes from the reps and the diligence in the run game.
Winning the battle up front, Fletcher again. Touchdown again. Hurricane score.
There's going to be a double team here, and then you're going to see the left guard, Samson Okunlola, work up, and then on the backside, the right guard, Inez Cooper, both of them get up to the linebacker level. It's hats on hats. There's not a lot of Stanford guys unblocked, not a lot of Stanford guys getting off blocks, and that's because this offensive line has really picked it up.
Extra point is good for Fletcher, Roddy.
Man, that's a lot of paint that it takes to get the front of that chest, but he is here and he is living moss.
He is a Category 4 on his own. As we take a look at our playbook brought to you by Modelo, and it's been the Canes defense with interceptions, Roddy.
Ruben Bain just turning the corner, running the hoop, getting the tackle for loss. But it's been a bunch of guys up front. Dante Simpson getting in on it, and then Wesley Basaint with the first of 2 interceptions that set up 2 Miami touchdowns. And the playmaker absolutely loves it. The omnipresent Michael Irvin giving Wesley Basaint, one of the local kids here from Miami, giving him some love.
So much great lineage at the University of Miami, football-wise. This is Cole Tabb. Nowhere to go. Might have got a yard. Here from Carroll City, Florida. Miami in control on a 28-0 run, courtesy of a couple of picks that set up some touchdowns and a couple of prodigious punt returns by Malachi Toney. See what Stanford gets done here in the fourth quarter to try and regain some of its offensive momentum, which looks so promising in the opening quarter, on the opening drive, actually.
Yeah, and then Miami's defense really settled into this game. It's kind of like the Louisville game, except for it lasted 2 drives for Louisville, and Louisville scored on a fake field goal and then had a nice drive, but Miami's defense has really settled in.
Cedric Irvin in the backfield, stays in to block. Behind his receiver, incomplete, intended for Farrell. And in a blink, it'll be 4th and long.
Stanford's offensive line is lucky it didn't get called for a hold, because Ruben Bain was on a stunt. He looped inside, and Emeka Ugorji, all he could do is grab Bain around the neck to prevent him from getting to Ben Gulbranson.
Are you intimating he was holding him?
I'm intimating. I'm not intimating. I'm accusing. I think that's pretty factual.
Flintoff with his 5th punt of the night. Toney watches it bounce harmlessly at the 33 and takes a Cardinal bounce all the way down to the 24-yard line. Will be 1st down and 10 from there. Let's go back to the studio, guys. ¿Qué pasó? All right, guys, back here. 28-7.
Mark, you heard the game-winning touchdown catch. Emmett Mosley, that's Stanford transfer. Emmett Mosley.
Yikes.
So
they might use him right now. Right?
They absolutely could, but it's kind of what's happened with Stanford. The transfer portal has really historically worked one way, although it's starting to work more in the other way with them bringing in more transfers.
Fletcher out to
but as he's gotten more healthy, he has shown flashes of why they wanted him so bad.
Fletcher again, this time stopped up a little bit behind the line of scrimmage. Let's go back to that, though. When you talk about Stanford, one of the patterns, Roddy, that we've seen since the inception of the transfer portal is Andrew Luck. I knew I was overdoing saying that. Andrew Luck tries to stem the tide of it and the hemorrhaging of people leaving. A lot of players have left having earned their Stanford degrees and then go play football elsewhere because, I mean, let's not fool ourselves. That Stanford degree is worth quite a bit in the real world.
Yes, it is.
Could even become a TV producer like our guy in the truck. Out to the 43-yard line. Pass complete to Tony Johnson for the 1st down. Kim Belton, our producer, former Stanford grad, former Stanford Hall of Famer on the basketball team.
And Mark, part of what Andrew Luck has done by bringing in the amount of money and fundraising that he has, he's building the ability for Stanford to be able to retain players like Emmett Mosley and David Bailey, because those are excellent cornerstones of your program. And when Texas comes calling, it may not all be about money, but some of it is about money, and you have to be competitive with those schools when they try and come poach your guys.
Great point. Mark Fletcher breaking a couple of tackles, tiptoeing out to the 49-yard line. Now let's take a look at this week's college football rankings, brought to you by Prudential. So we were talking about some of the schools. Indiana, another great story this year, proving that last year was not luck or a one-off.
No, Indiana has been dominant. I mean, they have the resume to be the best team in the country. I think eye test it's Ohio State, but Indiana keeps beating people by 50. Eventually, you're going to have to put them at number 1.
Moore with a catch. We saw Moore down on the field prior to the kick tonight. Joshua Moore out of West Broward High School, Miami native. When he looked at him, I thought Andre Johnson right away.
I don't disagree with that. He might be taller than Andre Johnson, to be honest with you. I mean, he looks like an NFL receiver should look. And so you look at what they could be next year with Joshua Moore, JoJo Trader, who hasn't exploded yet, but still has the talent, and Malachi Tony. That's scary.
Pass complete to the near side of the field. And another first down run. This one from Marion, the BYU transfer. What do you make of Carson Beck in the way that he's rebounded?
You know, I think it's been efficient. He's 20 of 27. There's Andre Johnson.
Speaking of,
always stars in the building here. One of the all-time greats. You think he's the face of this Miami Hurricanes?
He might be one of them. I'm sure that he's going to get some votes. Part of the national championship team. Jordan Lyle in the backfield right now. Get it out quickly to Tony. Malachi Tony on the run in space. Pushed out of bounds at the 16-yard line by Scotty Edwards.
The two freshmen that we just talked about made that play. Malachi Tony with the ball in his hands, running behind Joshua Moore, the big-bodied 6'4", 215-pound receiver from West Broward High School, opening it up for Malachi Tony, who's just been dynamic today.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that you have enough adjectives. That one was basically a blind catch. He's done it on punt returns as well. He kind of single-handedly ignited this Miami offense.
Sure felt like it, Roddy. On the ground. Oh, what a great move. Lyle into the end zone. Touchdown. The flood has begun in earnest.
The move that Jordan Lyle makes on the safety, Scotty Edwards, is why they're so excited about this young sophomore. Guy with a 91-yard rush touchdown last year against USF. How about the response on the ground by Miami?
It feels like that offensive line of the Canes just pounded and pounded.
Soccer player hitting a $500,000 kick, taking money from McAfee.
Wow. Gonna have to cash that insurance policy, it looks like, huh?
It's gotten very expensive on McAfee. He keeps upping the ante.
I mean, I'm not pocket watching, but hey, now a quick word from Verbo.
As your host, I have some rules. First, no showers longer than 5 minutes. This isn't a spa. That's the rule.
Meanwhile, at a Verbo, get the vacation you expect, and never a hovering host.
First and 10 for the Cardinal from their own 25-yard line. Miami Hurricanes on a 35-0 run. Elijah Brown has come in at quarterback now. He finished the game last week against Florida State, coming in midway through the second quarter after Gobranson was injured. He's going to hand it off on the reverse on his first play, and Caden High is going to lose about 7 yards.
This Miami defense has made it tough to go up the middle, so they try and go outside, and they make it tough to go there too. Is Elijah Brown, who's a big-time recruit coming out of Mater Dei High School, one of the premier high schools in all the country, 2 state championships there, 6 of 12 last week for 71 yards, and just enough to beat Florida State at home.
It's a little bit of a battle back in the fall for QB1 spot. Brown had some arm issues that hindered his chance. On second and long, gets it out. Pass complete at the 23. Nice run by C.J. Williams out near the 30, brought down at about the 29, picked up 11. So it's 3rd down coming up.
That the first catch of the day for C.J. Williams, a guy who came in as their leading receiver, 62 targets on the year coming into this game, but has not been targeted a lot in this one. Finally gets his first catch of the game.
Wisconsin transfer. Made an official visit to Stanford before choosing to play for the Badgers initially. Elijah Brown at quarterback out of the shotgun on 3rd and 6. Surveys and pulls. Got a man at midfield, and that's going to be a first down to Caden High. Good poise that time by Elijah Brown, who was recruited by Mario Cristobal back when he was in high school.
Yeah, Mario Cristobal told us, I know all about Elijah Brown. Cristobal was at Oregon at the time. Recruited Elijah Brown. Excuse me, no, it wasn't. That was after he left Oregon. He was at Miami. Recruited Elijah Brown. Knows how talented the young man is.
That was the longest play they've had since the opening drive. 21 yards in all from midfield. Batted away, incomplete at the 46-yard line. He tried to hit Sam Roush. Tell you what, they've had some clamps on Roush. He has been a non-factor for most of the night, Rodney.
He has. He had the drop a little bit earlier, but they have not been able to find him consistently and deliver the pass as well. It was actually open on that deep over on the 3rd down, but they opted to go to Caden High. Sam Roush has not been able to get going.
On 2nd and 10, Miami pinning their ears back. That time Roush hanging on to it in heavy traffic. Making the grab. It'll be 3rd down, about 3 to go for the Cardinal.
This is why you put the backup quarterback Elijah Brown in the game. See if you can get a little spark with this offense. He's delivered it accurately and confidently. The rain starts to come down.
Low snap. The handoff to Irvin, and he's bottled up. Fourth down.
Dribbled back by Fisher Anderson, the center. Really had that play all kinds of off from a timing standpoint from the very beginning, and now Stanford with no choice but to go for it. Rain's coming down harder though.
Yep.
Watch the snap.
They got to get to the 40. Brown in traffic. Almost another interception, and the Hurricanes will take over on downs. Leading 35-7 in a spectacular second half comeback.
Ed Reed.
Ed Reed. He was such a spiritual and emotional leader.
Warren Sapp, Ray Lewis. You said Ray Lewis.
Yeah.
A lot of great choices.
I'm gonna go off script here. We put it online for you, and you can get on the conversation at ESPN CFB on X. Who do you view as the all-time face of the? I'm real curious to see what the response is going to be. I know my neighbor Luke Campbell got a lot of fans when he put those jerseys on, the Canes jacket in his videos back in the day, back in the 80s. This is Joshua Moore with a nice run. Moore evoking memories of Andre Johnson. Saw Andre on the sidelines a moment ago with 5:25 to go. Tell you what, this one ending a little bit early. Emory Williams in at quarterback in relief of Carson Beck. Beck's night is over. And a nice run that time by Whitley Humphrey. Tell you what, at this pace of game, I can make the 7 a.m. service at Antioch Missionary Baptist Church about 7 blocks away.
Get 8 hours of sleep.
That's my congregation right there. That's my people.
We heard a smattering of displeasure early in this game with Miami's dedication to the run game.
Yes.
the reason that you do it is for the dividends that it pays later in the game. And with the control that Miami's defense had, they have been rewarded because it has worn down this Stanford defensive front. And as much as Miami fans want this team to be a team that's going to win and put up 50 points every week, throwing the ball around, sometimes being a team that's built by the offensive and defensive lines, it's going to start a little ugly before it gets pretty later in the game.
That certainly has paid dividends for them. Humphrey again, this time stopped up by Williams III. As we approach 4 minutes to go. There's looking Mark Fletcher Jr. Did a great job running the football today for the Hurricanes. 23 times for 106 yards, averaged over 4.5 per carry.
And his physicality really showed up in that third quarter. I mean, running over people as he got into the flow of the game. You know, a lot of things in sports, it's about rhythm.
Yep.
And rhythm in the run game is something that people don't talk a lot about. They just expect you to go out there and start running the football well.
Between the tackles again. That Stanford defense felt like the walls of Jericho here in the second half. 4-yard pickup. Down to the 25. Hey, Jimmy Johnson. Starting to get some responses on our question too.
I mean, I think it's Ray Lewis.
You think it's Ray?
I think it's Ray Lewis. What he meant to this program when he was here, and then obviously the prominence that he had in the NFL. He feels to me very face of the U.
There's a lot of guys. I'm a Lamar Thomas fan.
Yeah,
you know,
really a heck of a player.
Yeah, made some big plays. And
my favorite was
Gino
Ed Reed.
Toretta.
My favorite was Ed Reed.
Yeah. His speech inside locker rooms is always going to get you moving.
He's now the offensive coordinator at Chamblee High School.
Okay.
It's the high school that I went to.
Yeah. Ah.
Got a kid on the team.
Okay. Howard Schnellenberger with his pipe that he used to regularly leave at a recruit's home and come back later to retrieve it as part of his recruiting tactics. Down to the 2-yard line, pardon me, the 12-yard line. Willis McGahee. I mean, he had a bunch of great players come through the doors. Clint Portis, Melvin Bratton,
and Jimmy Johnson. I would give it
out of bounds, inbounds, out of bounds. You'd give it to Jimmy Johnson. You're winning the vote right now. So your president right now, Joe. Yeah. Just he thinks it's you or Jimmy because you guys kind of set the pace. You set the tone.
Right, but I'm just doing what I can do. Jimmy poured into everybody, you know, and I'm talking about not just on the field. When he made us all work together on Thursday night to think about what we were going to be doing after football, you know, and guys having success, continual success, and then still coming back supporting. That's what it's all about. And that I got to lay at Coach Johnson's feet.
It's a select group. I mean, there's a bunch of guys you could argue. Bernie Kosar, one of the first guys.
Bernie Kosar in there. You know, listen, we got
Warren
that have gone on.
The Edge,
Stabs, Ray Lewis, the Ed Reed, the Jerome Browns. I miss Jerome Brown. I want to always give him his love for what he did and what he started here. But yeah, we've been fortunate to have a lot of great ones, and a lot of great ones from right here in Florida. So yeah, it's been great.
Playmaker, thank you.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you guys for being here.
So many names, so many greats. And Miami on the cusp of getting back into their winning ways. Bouncing back off that loss against Louisville. Trying to punch one more into the end zone. A nice run that time by Pringle Jr. But tripped up a couple of yards shy of the end zone. Less than a minute. Emory Williams going to take the snap. They're going to run it and score the touchdown. Pringle Jr. And the beat goes on here in South Florida as the Hurricanes lead it 41 7 with the extra point to follow. Folks, Stanford scored on the opening drive for them of the football game. And Miami has come back with soon to be, if they make this extra point, 42 consecutive points. It's good. A very favorable schedule, staying in the same time zone pretty much. Run it, Champ Hampton out near midfield, put his hat down and is pushed out of bounds at about the 47-yard line, and a flag thrown as well. Here's a look at the schedule for Miami coming up. Added here in the midway point of the college football season. Hurricanes rectifying their issues from a week ago, losing on this field against Louisville. Hampton with the run, and that should do it. Carroll City, stand up. Overtown, stand up. Liberty City, stand up. Little Havana, stand up. Coconut Grove, stand up. Doral, stand up. Coral Gables.